Hello everyone, the group Women on a Career Break. My name is Alpa Kapadia Teli. I'm a leadership coach, a life coach, and I have some beautiful trainings which I do for women. So I'm here today to speak to you all on the topic of how to discover our own strengths. I'm very happy to be speaking about this because I think this topic is one topic or one area of my life which really changed every single other area of my life. So how do we discover our strengths? Before I get into how do we discover our strengths, let me get into why is it important to discover our strengths. So I think many of you would have been in the corporate world before, and you would have experienced training, you would have experienced inputs given to you based on what you kind of lacked. So the one behavior that we see very often in the corporate world is a gap finding behavior. So what we are really looking for is there is a certain way you are supposed to be in the corporate world, or even in any other role in your life. There is a perfect person, like a mold cutout. And then you are kind of force fitted on that person. And then we find the gaps. Oh, this is not fitting properly, and we fill those gaps. The approach I'm suggesting to you is that you don't try to fit in and don't try to find the gaps and work on it. You know what happens when you work on the gaps? What's the feeling you get? The feeling you get is feeling of inadequacy, feeling that you're not good enough. At the very first instant of understanding your gaps, your energy goes down. It just plummets. Now, when your energy is going down, it's not really the best time to take action. It's not really the best time for you to feel empowered and strong and powerful. So when we take the approach of finding your strengths and working on them, that itself puts you in a place of strength. Because the question you are starting from is, what do I do well? What do I enjoy doing? And then you do more of that. Do that which you are good at. And that puts you in a space of power. It puts you in a space of strength. So let me give you an analogy. Now as I was sharing with you that I'm a coach, and most of the times in our own lives, we see that 70-80% of our life is going all right. Sometimes even 90% of our life is going all right. Everybody has 2 to 10% of their life, which is problems, which is challenges. Now, what we usually do is we take that 2-3%, we blow it up to become so big that it overshadows everything that we are facing in life. Instead, if we were just to celebrate what's going right, if we were to focus on what's going right, it will fill us with energy, power, and it'll put us in a space of resourcefulness. And from that space of resourcefulness, it's a great way to attack that 2 to 10% which is not going well. Even if it is women who are going back to work. When I ask women, so why can't you go back to work? And this was even my own story. Because I was used to a corporate role, a 9 to 5, not 5 ever, but 9 to 6, 7 role. After I had children, I always thought, oh, I can't go back now because I don't have so much time. Who will take care of it? So that one fixed mindset of, I cannot do this because who will take care of my children did not allow me to do anything with my life. It put me in a decision paralysis where I thought, oh, but I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. How can I get back? Now, I was again typically focusing on what I don't have. Then I learned to flip the question around. And honestly, I did this when I did my coaching certification. That what do I have? What are my strengths? What am I good at? And that's where coaching happened. Coaching happened, I realized I was very good at it. It came to me very effortlessly. Everybody whom I was coaching with, who was being coached by me, was having their lives changed. So now I have actually designed a life where I am working the hours I want to work. I'm doing something which I absolutely love doing. I'm doing something which fulfills my life's work, my life's purpose. And it's giving me as much income, if not more, than what I was already earning. So just that shift in mindset of what's working for me, what can I do, changed the whole thing around. So today I'm going to share with you actually some questions which you can ask yourself to find out what are your strengths. Yeah. So let's see. This shift of our focus will really work. It will put you in an empowered state and it will give you the confidence that you are strong and powerful. Yeah. So let's see. What are the questions you should ask yourself if you want to find what are your strengths? And I'll give you 3 questions in just a minute. Before that, I'll share with you a concept called Ikigai, which a lot of you must have already heard of. If I have to distill it for you and put it for you in simple terms, it's basically finding something which you are good at, something which the world needs, and something which you can be paid for. Now, for me, coaching was the holy grail and the sweet spot which fit all these 3 things. It was something I was good at, something the world needed, and something which pays me. So if you can find something from these trends that I am sharing with you, to find that sweet spot of what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, you can actually create for yourself your dream life and your dream profession. Okay, so let's go to question 1. Question 1 is the last 4 or 5 times someone has complimented you on something, saying, oh, you did this so easily and so brilliantly. What have they been complimenting you on? Yeah. So question 1 is the last 4-5 times someone has complimented you, saying, yeah, you do this so effortlessly. How do you do it? What have they complimented you on? I'm going to wait a minute while you think about your answer and write it down if you have a paper and a pen, or write it in the notes section of your mobile, whatever works for you. Yeah? Okay. So if you have 4-5 things which people have complimented you on lately, let's move to question 2. Question 2 is, what are those things that when you do it, you get a sense of deep joy and satisfaction? You enjoy it so much and love it so much that you feel that you should do it all the time. So you feel a sense of timelessness. You know, when you are immersed in them, time goes by so quickly you don't realize, or time just seems to stand still for you. Yeah. So question 2 is, what are those things that when you do them, they give you a sense of deep joy, satisfaction, and timelessness? You really enjoy these activities a lot. And this could be anything, like cooking, helping others, facilitating, doing maths problems, organizing, fundraising, spending time with my kids, spending time with children, meeting up with friends, reading a book, dancing. It could be anything. Yeah. So that's question 2. Now question 3. The first 2 questions were focused on doing, right? So what are the things that you do when someone has complimented you? Second was, what are the things you did when you get a sense of joy and satisfaction? The third, I want to shift your focus to ways of being. Yeah. So we are all human beings, but sometimes we forget that because we have a task list and we are doing. We forget that we also need to be a certain way. Even if you achieve your dreams and achieve your goals, but you don't feel a certain way, you'll still not be happy. So we're going to be focusing on the doing and the being. So question number 3 coming up for you. What are the ways of being that give you immense joy and pleasure? Yeah. So some examples of this could be being happy, when you're being helpful, when you're being adventurous, or when you're being creative, or when you're being sexy, or when you're being jovial, or when you're being cheerful, or when you're being content. Now, these are ways of being, and you don't need to do anything to feel this way. Some mornings you just wake up feeling very creative. Some mornings you wake up just feeling happy. It is not dependent on anything being done. So at this point, I want you to think, what are the ways of being that you really enjoy? So put that down. Those are 3 questions for you. 4, 5 things someone complimented you on. Question number 2 was, what do you do and you get a sense of deep joy and satisfaction? And question 3 is, what are the ways of being that you really enjoy? Now, ideally, this list should give you at least 10 to 15 strengths of yours, which you enjoy doing and which you enjoy being. And this for you is a starting point to embody these values, embody these strengths. Even embodying these values and strengths will put you in a space of, power, happiness, confidence. It'll help you take the steps you need to take so that you can move ahead in your personal and professional life. And the grip of fear, insecurities will slowly loosen over you. Yeah. So these are 3 ways, 3 questions which will help you discover what your strengths are. And what I'm aiming for here is to inspire you enough to be pulled by your vision rather than be pushed by your fears. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I had for you to begin with. And let's see if there are any questions now on this. So Shubha is asking, are personal career counseling sessions a good way to analyze your career strengths? Shubha, again, it depends, whom you are going to. I think it's a good way to talk to someone about what opportunities are there for you. So one thing is when you are going to see what are the opportunities available for me. And the other thing is you're going to see what am I good at and what do I really want to do. So I think it's a good thing, and investing in this to talk to someone who's a professional, I think it's a good idea. So definitely it is a good way of analyzing your strengths. But I would just want to end with saying that, finally the responsibility is on you of what you really want to do. So your voice should always be the one that guides you. It's good to talk to somebody because sometimes as you are talking, you start getting an idea of what resonates with you and what really is good for you. So that's the voice to follow. But to talk it out with someone is a good idea. Okay, so Arpita is saying, I'm coming off a 7-year career break and I haven't really kept in touch with the advancing corporate world. I wish to switch careers. How do I assess my key strengths? How to choose an alternate career? That's a very good question, Arpita, and that is a situation I think which a lot of women are going through anyway. And I was going through this as well. So I've actually designed a workshop. It's called Ignite Your Spark. And before I called it Ignite Your Spark, it was called Back to Work. And really it was for women who want to get back to work, but don't know where to start because it's been too long a break. You can't really go back and start from the place where you were because that doesn't give you a sense of growth. It doesn't give you a sense of achievement. It makes you feel like, oh, my peers have gone so much ahead and I've really left behind. So I would suggest, Arpita, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself to reskill yourself. Good starting point is workshop like workshop I had done, Ignite Your Spark. The next workshop is coming up on 12th of March. I'll put the details for you in the comments here as well, so you can take a look at it later. If you want to look at the website, it's igniteyourspark.in. The dates may not be there still. I have to still update that. But really invest, talk to someone to understand what are your strengths, how much do you wish to earn. And before you look for a career, I feel if women understand and prepare for the challenges that they are going to be facing, it really helps. So if you're talking to someone like a coach, like a career coach, you are going through what are the challenges you're going to face, how do you skill yourself, what are your interest areas. You know, I really feel that this time that mothers have when they get back is such a beautiful time, because not everyone has this liberty of a break in their career where they can really think and course correct. Now, this is a beautiful time where you don't have to go back to what you were doing. You actually take a pause, think about what you would like to do, and actually build your professional life towards that. So a good place is to talk to a coach, is to do some workshops, do courses on things which interest you a lot. See how it feels, get that interest back. Get used to stepping out of your house a little bit, so that everyone is used to the fact that something is going to happen. And after you have tried on a few new things or spoken to a coach, then you choose what are the things that are there as options for you and what you would like to do. Some of these questions that I have asked you also in today's live, I think should help you. I hope that answers your question, Arpita. Now I'm going to Sujata. I used to work in customer support before my 13-year break. I want to now restart, but in the field of writing. How do I know if I have what it takes? Sujata, that is such a brilliant question. And I'm so happy that, you know, I love this resilience and this tenacity women have to really get what they want. So a good way, Sujata, to start this would be to start writing yourself. It could be to start interning with a writer. It could be to start blogging to see how your words are coming out. So there's so much in the field of writing today. In fact, there are lots of writers' retreats which happen, where people just get together to write their books and someone is facilitating them through it. I myself had done this course, How to Write a Book in 8 Days with Priya Kumar. And she actually guided us through, you know, how you structure your book, how you get your description, how you get your chapters to be structured. It was so insightful and so lovely. And I am in the process of writing my book. So there's a lot to be done. I think the very first step you can take is to start a blog. Start putting your thoughts down on paper. Start sharing it with people. Just get back in the groove right now. And as you are oiling that, next step is to reach out to someone. See if you want to intern with them. See if you want to do a course in creative writing or in journalistic writing or whatever kind of writing that you want to do. So that's a good place to start for you, Sujata. Divya Shankar, how do I identify our strengths and build on it? That I just answered in this live for you, Divya, by asking yourself those 3 questions is a good place to start. Okay, Divya Shankar. In most women who are willing to get back to work after a break, there is a complex that they are not ready to get back into the working category. Can you let us know how to come out of it? Again, that's a very good question, Divya. I must share that with you. You know, it's a well-known statistic that women are far more harder on themselves and they expect a lot more perfection of themselves compared to men in the same role. So a man will go in and ask for a promotion if he's 70% ready. And a woman, even if he's 110% ready, will think twice before going ahead and asking. So the workshop I do also, Divya, is for this, is to help women really understand that what they are going through is a complex. And if they are running a house so beautifully, they are doing far more anyway than someone does in a corporate. So it's just having pride in who you are and what you are doing. And that also is what I saw in so many women. which is why I designed the Ignite Your Spark workshop, because I really wanted women to feel their own power, to just feel confident. No change happens by doing things. But once you just embody the change, love yourself enough, stand up for yourself, set your boundaries, follow your own dreams and treat them as if they are as important as your husband's or child's or anybody else in your family. I think if you're just able to embody that power that I was telling you about on this, you will definitely come out of that complex that you are not ready. And I think there's a lot of support even from the corporate world today for women who are going back to work. So there is a lot of hand holding which happens when women are coming back from a long break. There's a lot of reskilling which happens to ensure that they feel ready. And women really, I think we give birth. And if we can give birth, I think we can do anything. So please just believe in yourself. Yeah, Divya. If you'd like to talk, you can always reach out to me. I'm on all the social media platforms as Alpa Ignite Spark. Okay. And you can also email me at alpa@ignitethespark.in. Hamida, what do you mean by strong points or strengths with regards to one career? So again, this is what I already shared in the live, Hamida. You should listen to those questions. That's what I mean by strong points or strengths. Yeah. Can you tell us what strong points can one possess and how it can be applied? Okay. What strengths to keep in mind while applying for a job, especially when a person is a fresher? Okay. So Hamida, for example, I'll give you a personal example again. I think I was always very interested in the leadership development space. So I was very interested to see how I can help people go from where they are and become some better version of themselves. That has been my passion. Even when I was in the corporate world, I was heading learning and development, leadership development, talent management, and succession planning for Godrej Corporate HR when I left. And that strength of mine, that I could really see a person and see their full potential rather than seeing at what place they were playing in their life. That strength worked beautifully in my coaching work, because that's exactly what a coach needs to do. So I applied that strength and made a career out of it. So if you're good at creativity, now you can get creative with making purses, with writing, with making websites, with designing flyers, with making candles, with making soaps, with making anything. So if creativity is your strength, then how do you want to shape that into a profession? It's something you can discover. Talk to some friends, talk to some people, maybe talk to a coach and figure out how can you make a living out of it. But when you work from a place of strength, you are not saying, okay, I want to earn money like this only. You are saying, okay, here's what I'm good at. Here's what I enjoy doing. Now, how do I apply this to make a career for myself? Yeah. And again, now strengths to keep in mind while you're applying for a job, if you're a fresher, it really depends on the kind of job you are applying for, Hamida. Most companies also these days apply, recruit for attitude and not for skill. So you may have all the skills you want, but the attitude you have, the empathy you have, the way you take people along, your hard work, your sincerity, your work ethic, these are the things companies are looking for all the time. Because you can always kill someone, but the attitude cannot be fixed. Yeah, so that's one thing I can tell you for the question you asked. On your third question posed to us on ways of being, yes, there are many ways, not one in which a person be, but sometimes it's hard when it comes to the outside atmosphere and outside people. Some don't accept the people the way they are. They just want them to be one of them, which is definitely not right. And one has to go through a lot or a little bit of negativity, which spoils the whole thing and makes one behavior different and weird in a wrong way. So tell us how to overcome this and avoid this. Hamida, I feel you. I really feel you, and I understand exactly what you are saying. So what Hamida is saying is again a classic problem which all women face. you will find that, you know, people around you, they're not ready for your power. They're not ready for you standing in your power. Just being who you are. So a lot of the women I work with, and also I did this myself for many years, you know, I kind of dimmed my shine because I thought people around me don't like it. If I'm so powerful and so ambitious, it doesn't go well. It doesn't go down well with the patriarchal structure that our society is in right now. But Hamida, the one thing that I learned, and which I believe all women need to learn also, is that, you know, we are kind of wired to take care of others and to put others' needs before ours. But nobody in the world can make others happy in a sustainable way if they themselves are not happy. So a lot of this thing that we believe that, you know, we are not accepted for who we are not, people will not like it if we do this. So the one thing you need to learn, Hamida, is that you're an adult now. And people have only as much power over you as you allow them to have. Yeah. A very beautiful line I read in a book which said, resentment is basically where you have given your power away. So if you find yourself being resentful or angry, look in those places. Those are the places where you have given your power away. You have given someone the power to say that they have a right over decisions that you make in your life. Today, if you want to be a certain way, wear whatever you want, do whatever work you want, nobody can stop you. What stops you is your being affected by what they have to say. So what will happen? Supposing you are wearing something which people don't like. When you come out, people will look at you. They may make you feel bad through their eyes, through their words. If you're doing a job and people don't like it, again, people will say something, they will make certain faces, and you will feel scared. But this fear comes from the societal conditioning, saying that you have to fit in this box. Nobody has said that you need to fit in a box. You have to just find your own tribe. You know, this fear that we have again goes back to the time of when we were, you know, hunters and gatherers. At that time, you know, if we didn't stick to the tribe, then we could lose our lives because the world was a dangerous place. There were wild animals going around. So we needed the men to protect us. We needed our tribe to protect us. But that's no more the case, Hamida. You have to find the courage of just being who you are. And I'm not saying do it overnight. You know, it's not that tomorrow morning you get up and you're suddenly going to be everything that you wanted to be. But take it one step at a time, Hamida. I found, okay, let me give you some examples because I really think this is something women go through. So I always felt that my in-laws are very orthodox and they won't allow me to work. And then I asked myself, who are they to allow me anyway? Doing slowly, I started taking up a few, I mean, I was already working. I was a working woman when I got married. But after my kids, I felt I don't have enough support to work. So I started doing one consultancy project at a time. Then I went and did a little bit more. Then I started a blog. I started stepping out for meetings. And slowly, I have made my way. Yes, was there resistance? There was a lot of resistance. Did I have to have showdowns? Yes, I had to have a lot of showdowns. But I did it from a space of love, understanding, and assertiveness. I no longer gave others the power or the choice to decide what was right and wrong for me. That was my life, and I would decide. And not only would I decide, I would also bear the consequences of whatever that decision brought. So this power which you're talking of, Hamida, lies within you. So I think whatever atmosphere is around your house, you decide. You know, it's like a space you have around you that you have to make. That space is called boundaries. Yeah. So it's like how you put in a house saying, this is my house. Now you need to put a boundary around yourself saying, this is my space and this is my life. And you choose whose negativity you allow in and whose you don't. Because that power lies with you. Just because someone says something to you does not mean automatically that you have to feel bad about it and you have to spend 6 hours sulking. You choose what decision you want to make at that point. And this is not easy. It does take a lot of inner work, a lot of work on our own beliefs, which I did, which I help my clients do. But once you start understanding that, you really have the power in your own hand, you can decide how you want to feel. You can literally landscape your emotions. You can make an emotional landscape the way you like it. Then nothing will affect you after that. Yeah. So I hear you, Hamida. Thanks for that question. I think it was a lovely question. And I know I went on a little bit long about that, but that's one thing which really, it touched me so much. And a lot of my work is revolved around that. So I wanted to answer that as fully as I can. Shreya, hi Alpa, I'm a career restarter with the responsibility of family and work. I recently feel stressed out and low on energy. How do I plan to get more organized and manage my time well in this situation? Yeah, Shreya, that's a good question again. And you already know your answer. But I can share with you what is the one thing which I have found most women not doing. And that really is, self-care and self-love. So with women, and you've gone back to work, you're taking care of your career and your family, that is also the time to take care of yourself. So ensuring that you have the same 24 hours in the day, but you're asking for help where you need it. You are eating well, you're eating nutritious food, not prepared in a hurry, but planned in advance. And the third thing is you are asking for help, food and exercise. You're finding some time to take care of yourself through exercise, meditation, dance, whatever works for you. So I had the same challenge when I got back to work because I have 2 children and it really gets very overwhelming sometimes to take care of their school things, your own work, your husband's work, your in-laws' work. It gets too much. So planning ahead is one thing which really helped me. So I had those Excel sheets for what meals would be cooked for the whole week. So I didn't have to think about it at that point. I already had a cook, but whatever help you need, in India, we are very lucky to have domestic help. And if you are working, even if you are earning well, great. Even if you are not earning well, I still think you have a right to have the help you need so that you are able to relax. At sometimes just switch off, like my rest times would be calendared. I would put them in my calendar. This is the time I will rest and I will do nothing. So I would tell my children in advance that from this time to this time, Mama is not available. If you need something, you tell me now. For half an hour, you cannot disturb me. Or I would rope my husband in and saying, okay, these 2 hours on Saturday, I need to myself. You take care of the kids and I will need these 2 hours to just unwind and plan for my next week. So don't be scared to ask people for help. I think working women planning ahead and asking for help really makes all the difference. That is a little tedious to do, planning ahead is a little tedious. But if you want to work happily, that's the best way to do it. So plan ahead and ask for help. You have all the right in the world to ask for whatever help you need, just as your husband does. Yeah. So that's what I have for you, Shreya. No, it's not about being orthodox, but unnecessary criticism towards work without even knowing what exactly the situation is. Exactly what I'm saying, Hamida. When people don't know also what the work is and they will criticize it, it's up to you. Where you decide your power lies right now. It's completely up to you how much you're going to affect you. I'm just checking if there are any more questions which have come in. So whatever it is, whether it's good or bad, neither matters, Hamida. So I would suggest another thing for you is to create a circle around you of women or of your supporters, people who really support you. Spend more time talking to them. A sisterhood, like, even what JobsForHer has created, a sisterhood is very important for supporting each other through these tough times. And, that's why I feel sometimes that it's very important to have a coach. Because most of the time, women go to their husbands for advice and husbands go to their wives for advice. But sometimes when you're a spouse, there is a personal agenda out there. For example, any decision which a husband or wife takes and it affects the other person, there's a personal agenda. But if you're talking to a coach, somebody who's outside, then there's a better chance that you will make a decision which is for you. And in the world, I feel if you want to achieve what you want to achieve, there are always going to be haters and naysayers. And it's not only about being a woman, Hamida, even men go through it. So if you really want to achieve your dreams, you have to learn to ignore the barking dogs and walk like an elephant with complete focus towards your goals. If you start talking to every person who's barking in the middle, you'll never reach your destination. Sounds a little harsh, but it's true. Let people criticize. It's okay. You choose not to be affected by it because the world, the outer world, is a reflection of your inner world. So if you internally are feeling like, a victim, you will need somebody on the outside to blame for it. But once you work on yourself and become that warrior, nothing outside will touch you, Hamida. And this is all a very beautiful personal journey, which we all go through, which I have gone through myself. It just makes you so, like Vishen Lakhiani uses this word, unfuckable. Nothing affects you anymore. So you really get to that space. Okay, there's another question from Pratibha. How does one find a mentor in the career journey ahead? Pratibha, this would depend on what you are doing. So if you're in a corporate role, then you should find a mentor in your boss or your boss's boss. Or a lot of companies also have designated mentors who help women, especially to navigate their careers, or especially the high potential people. So it really depends on what kind of career you are in. If you are a professional or an entrepreneur, you can always reach out to there are a lot of mentorship platforms available these days. I think Shiro's is there. Shiro's is one I know for sure who have mentorships available for women. So there are lots of groups now which are offering mentorship for women. There are a lot of coaches like me, who work with women and who be happy to kind of support you in your journey to get back. Just to see the joy of seeing another woman who has reclaimed her own life and chosen to do what she likes. And I don't say that you have to go back to work, but I just believe if a woman wants to work, nothing should stop her. Okay. So I'm just going to put this website in, igniteyourspark.in. You can take a look at this website. Though the date out here is mentioned September, but the next workshop is on 12th of March. So if you need to get in touch, please do. It's a workshop which really changes your doing and being. We get into archetypes, we get into the societal conditioning, we really break it down. Like what are the things which affect you, how do you come out of it and reclaim your power. So the one thing which I really do is help women reclaim their radiance. That's my job. To help you connect with your own inner power and become just so powerful that no negativity touches you. And even if it touches you, it slides off you like water off a duck's back. Thank you for watching. I think you guys have been amazing with your questions and I've loved interacting with you all. And if you need to get in touch with me in future too, you can write to me at alpa@ignitethespark.in.